Jai's Bank PLC, non-interest bank, said it has embraced and deployed the newly introduced quick response code to ease transactions for customers and merchants. The NQR code is an indigenous payment platform designed by the Nigerian Interbank Settlement Scheme, that's NIBS, to provide a reliable and enhanced payment experience with the aim of lowering transaction costs for consumers. Joining us to discuss these headlines is Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm fine, sir. So, what do you make of the back and forth between the federal government and Governor Obaseki? Chika, Nigeria and the world want to hear your thoughts.
You guys always put me in this.
Yeah, I know. You just happen to call in the controversial, heavy topic. In fact, it's on the cover of today's This Day for our viewers. So you pick that up as well. It's right there on the top.
Okay,
right there.
Let me look at it. There's no right or wrong answer in this issue.
Okay.
But let me look at the issues that we face as a country. We face, revenue challenges.
Yes.
And remember, we just come out from recession.
Yes.
And in the midst of this COVID crisis, oil prices at the time tanked to below, even hugging $10 per barrel. And I've said in this program that there are fundamental issues, or this, let me use a big word, disequilibrium, in our economy.
Yes.
Now, when they were teaching us GDP, they say, who's GDP feeding? GDP feeding anybody. It can be, debt analysis can be very disingenuous about it. Now, our Minister for Finance is always focused on what?
Debts to GDP ratio.
And for the third world, for the developing countries, where the IMF and the World Bank have said about 57%. So we, our country here, have expanded the net of our own to about 40%.
Yes.
To accommodate the financing for the 2021 budget. And so she says that on that basis, we are at 23% now on debt to GDP ratio.
Right.
And therefore, we still have capacity to take on more debt.
Right.
Or sustainable debt, as defined by IMF and World Bank. Now, but the debt on that ratio on its own doesn't stand on its own. And the problem is for developing economies. If you flow down on that analysis also, that's a poor correlation between the revenues of those countries and GDP.
Right.
And so if you stretch it further, that's a problem. Look at our country, for example, as I keep saying in this program, and that the fundamental issue of economy is that if you look at up there, the GDP of our country, the oil is less than 10% of their GDP. While that segment, agriculture, distributed trade, which are the major components, are considered about the 90%. If you move down a little lower, the revenue from which you service the debt.
Yes.
So on the GDP level, the minister is saying we're doing very well. But remember, the GDP level is what? Oil, 10%.
Right.
And non-oil, 90%.
Right.
Now, if you flow down a little lower, below it, now the oil that has 10% GDP
is responsible
for almost 70% of our revenues.
Right.
And then 90% of foreign exchange.
Right.
Whereas the big ones are 90%, contribute less than 30% of our revenues.
Right.
So you don't get the support to service these debts from those major elements of the GDP.
Right.
And those are the fundamental issues of our economy. Now, if you come down again, look again, the other fundamental problem we have here is our debts. Our debts are not tied to specific projects or assets. And so they're just in the pool. Right. The Minister for Transport has been asked, where is the reserve fund for the Abuja, to pay back the Abuja He says it's in the pool. It's going to be paid from the nation. You don't have to know. They're building on so many rail projects and based on loan, but they're not the kind of funding for them. So that's a problem. The other problem we have is that we have been issuing debts to pay back maturing debts. That's symptomatic of a revenue problem.
Yeah.
So there are fundamental issues in the economy. And for me, the Govt is an investment banker. He's solid, he's grounded, and he understands that figures must add up.
Right.
Figures must add up in the sense that the revenues for the government, Nigerian government, as I said, come from what? Crude oil sales, taxes, whether it's corporate, custom duties, or VAT, as the case may be.
Yeah.
And those come to the basket, and then they're shared among the national and the subnational governments for them to go and start consuming and spending.
Yes.
And then the issue is this, that we already knew from the beginning there's a gap in our revenue base. Based on the budget, the spending we're going to want this year and the revenue we're going to get. The issue is that funding gap is supposed to be, covered by what? Structured debt finance. Either issued Euro bonds or local bond programs.
Yes.
That has not happened. So how has it been financed?
And that's where
that's the point.
Allegation. Right. I understand. I got you.
So how has it been financed?
Right.
So that's the issue.
Money has to come from somewhere.
Must come from somewhere.
Right.
Now, so the Central Bank of Nigeria is the bank of last resort to the federal government of Nigeria.
Yeah.
So you have heard our CBN governor, who I call all the names. Minister for Agriculture, Minister for Finance, Minister for Health, Minister has hands everything. Even Minister for National Theatre, and he's doing everything for us now.
Right.
He has hands everywhere. And you have heard him defend that.
The ways and means
facilities. Right. And that should we say no if we want to pay the army soldiers because there's no revenue coming in, shouldn't say no. So that's the issue. And you hear the international press also has focused on that, the ways and means. At the time in Nigeria, about 2 or 3 months ago, it was a contentious issue in the economy about the ways and means side, the sides on the ways and means of the government. So we have revenue challenges. And that's what the Obaseki is saying. That let's not keep denying that we have revenue challenges. The Minister of Finance is focusing on the debt to GDP ratio. But now, the most important ratio for us is what? The debt service to revenue ratio, which in our country, depending on the mathematics you do, hovers between 60 to 78%. So it leaves little room
for capital projects.
Right. Now, cascade it to the states. You find what's happening to the states. All the states are saying what? They spend about 90% of the revenue on salaries and emoluments.
Right.
And nothing's happening in the states. So what are all of us doing? All the borrowed money is for what now? Chop consumption.
Yes.
With you. All the borrowed money is what?
Right.
It's consumption.
And
so that's a problem for economy. And that's a challenge. And that's what Govt is saying.
Thank you so much for that, Chika. Yeah. Well explained. LCCI, customs, or what would you like to comment on? Let me
talk about customs.
Go ahead.
I've punched him a lot in this program.
You have several times.
And so in the economic theories, when we're doing the economic equations about growth and development, we assume that no leakages in the equation, no leakages in the economy, like smuggling. Now, but smuggling is a major element in Nigeria. We have analyzed so many companies in Nigeria. All the push by the Central Bank of Nigeria on the intervention funds, the agriculture programs, rice development, weed development, and whatever, will come to naught if cheap alternatives are left to enter from our border into our country.
Right.
In all respects, whether it's sugar, whether it's rice, we even let one time palm oil was being smuggled into Nigeria.
Right.
We go to supermarkets to see imported palm oil. There was time we saw egusi soup in some supermarkets from China. Literally everything is being brought into Nigeria. I told you before this program started that shipload of rice. Have you gone to the port? Go and see how big a ship is. Now, imagine the number of shiploads of rice that come into Nigeria, smuggled to Nigeria. How do they enter Nigeria?
Right. Somebody has to see it.
Yeah, unless there's somebody who just casts a spell on all the security agencies.
They can't see
and the shipload of rice. Right. The rice, they come through motorcycles. You don't offload the shipload of rice motorcycle.
Right.
So that's the way they come into Nigeria. And that's why I've had the custom bill on the block. Now, they come out and say, we don't have enough resources to do the work.
Right.
The resources are here now.
Right. Federal government has
given the resources.
Right.
Several boats, several vehicles, and to support their operation. And especially the marine channels.
Yes.
Because we heard that when the borders are closed, a lot of smuggling was being thrown through the waters. Yes. And the customs didn't have boats to defend chase them.
Yeah.
So now they have the boats, and I hope the excuses will end. But having said that, again, that's custom. In that release from the Executive Council meeting, they said they approved for about 400 and something vehicles, running to about less than 10 billion naira. Now, what are these vehicles? What they come from Innoson or from our local assembly plants to make sure that we keep the money inside Nigeria.
Right.
Let's not hear now that it's for Toyota, Prado, all those funny imported cars.
Right.
Let us support. Let us support.
Excellent point.
Our local industries.
Excellent point.
Because all those contribute. Our economy is weak because of the fact that oil is a major driver. The manufacturing industry sector is weak, no exports. Agricultural sector is weak, no contribution to revenues and foreign exchange. The distributed trade, same thing. So that's why. So we need to support these industries. As you support them, they will produce better, make mistakes, the packaging becomes better, the equipment become better because they have money now for investment. And that's my support. So all the budgets from the Federal Executive Council should all go to make sure that these investments are vehicles are done in here.
Thank you for that. Jais Bank, the QR code, this with technology to facilitate payments.
I don't know. I mean, it happens when you step out even to Ghana or some of these countries abroad. All this is happening already. So
we might as well do it here.
Yeah, let's do it here. Just having to help the economy grow more.
All right, Business Analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, always a pleasure having you. Thank you for taking us through those headlines.